Hello, Patreon legends. Okay, a little bit of a change up today, a little bit of change of format, a little bit of a change of background, you might notice as well. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different, and we're actually chatting to a noted jumper collector. Before I introduce him, let me just quickly thank you guys for signing on to Patreon. $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month. Whatever you're happy giving, we're happy taking, and it helps us to do what we do, and we love doing what we do. Welcome to Get Your Crow On. This is a show where traditionally Leighton and I chat about all things Crows jumpers. Leighton, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Looking forward to the guest interview, which we previewed in previous episodes.
Absolutely, he's been sizzled fairly heavily in the last couple of episodes. But today, thanks to, by the way, to the sponsors in Trojan Aluminium and Pain Medicine. I always forget to do that off the top. I get all excited by the jumpers. Today, we're being joined by. I've seen a little bit of his jumper collection. I can't wait to see more of it. The phenomenal Andy Munro. How you doing, mate?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy these on Patreon, so it's good to be on one.
Oh, mate, happy to
Yes,
have you.
definitely.
And it's something we'd love to do in future too, guys. If you are a jumper collector and you think you've got some noteworthy pieces in your collection that you want to show off and you want to discuss with us, drop us a line on Facebook or Twitter. Let us know, and we'll make the time. We'll find a way to get you onto an episode. Andy, mate, first question: how long have you been collecting jumpers?
Geez, well, I've always been pretty interested in jumpers. Even when I was a young kid, I was drawing them and making them on paint and then Photoshop. But I think I've been collecting about 2 years now. So I think I was pretty much started when we lost the grand final, and I was just down and out. I lost interest in football, and I had to go back and think about what I enjoyed. And I thought I like collecting jumpers, so maybe I should get a few more of them. So I got old teams, but I mostly got a lot of Crows. So yeah, that's how I started 2 years ago.
That's funny you mentioned that because I started around a similar time as we've been messaging for a while. And yeah, I guess it's just something to take your mind off of the fact that we lost the grand final. We weren't doing so well in 2018 and 19. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a really even now it's still not a great time to be a Crows fan, but collecting jumpers, you can reminisce on the past and when we were better and when I was a kid and when it was more fun. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah,
Mate,
definitely.
even just looking at what you've got in the background, I can see some amazing looking collectibles just behind me there, including the Western Bulldogs Origin orange jumper, which is a pre-season throwback from a long time ago. That's a big one.
Yeah, it is. That was a player issue, and I've got other ones over here. This is only I've got over 100, so I've got a whole bloody rack of them. So got them all over the walls and everywhere. So yeah, I'm a bit of a fanatic.
Fantastic. Well, mate, look, I could talk to you all day about some of the random stuff hanging up behind you, but we're here to talk about Crows jumpers. So what have you got to show us? What do you got to share, mate?
Yep, sure. So I thought I'd just start chronologically. So this is a sublimated 96 jumper. So they didn't retail these, but this was a prototype by Puma. Puma made quite a lot of prototypes. It's all team signed. It's really hard to find an actual player worn one, but this is the best I've got at the moment. Number 6 on the back, of course, but that's just ironed on. It's not the fully sublimated one, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Team signed by most of the premiership players there. Yeah, so that's the first one, but my best one I can show you comes from Leighton. I was very lucky that he traded me for this one. It is an Andrew McLeod prototype 1996. So they made these up, and the ones I actually wore had different numbers. If you look on Jeff Albertson's channel, you'll be able to see that. But yeah, from Andrew McLeod, that's probably my number one at the moment. And I was very lucky to trade for that one.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, with the that's a really unique prototype one, and we've mentioned it in the past. That's pretty much our favourite away design. What do you think of it, Damon?
I mean, Jeff, I've got you to thank for this one as well, but
Yeah.
my little one hanging down in the back corner. I remember getting a message from you saying, "Hey man, I've got one if you want it." I drove all the way from my place in the northeast down to Tonsley Park to go and pick it up. But I didn't trade jumpers. I traded cold hard cash for mine. But it's one of the best investments I've ever made because, yeah, Andy, I don't know if you agree, but Leighton and I are very much proponents, fans of bringing this classic design back to the club somehow.
Yeah, for sure. I adore that jumper. I remember I had a book from the primary school, and it had a photo of Sean Wren in it. So I got my mum to like blow it up on the printer or our scan or whatever. And this was only about 10 or whatever. And I love this jumper, so I wanted a photo of it.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
great.
got that one.
It is quite rare.
And then they actually brought it in.
Yeah, because I only wore those in
Yeah, so
pre-season.
they actually
So
brought it in, the one that's
yeah.
Leighton wearing.
It was a fantastic idea, wasn't it?
So
Because
yeah, I'd love if they brought it back.
as a pre-season jumper, it worked really well. But then someone at the club obviously had the really brave idea to just simplify it and go, nah, that's an away jumper straight away. And it's one of our best ever away jumpers by a long way, I reckon.
Yeah.
What
I
else have you got,
agree.
mate?
Yeah, for sure. But this is a secondary for mine. Say 1999, the first Adidas away, Ben Hart. So
very
player
nice.
issue, game worn, I assume. I was very lucky to get this one. Just signed by him there. It's so it's a sports wool. So it's a different type of material from the Puma ones. The Adidas made the sports wool, but yeah, really cool. I like the red numbers. It's a bit different. I know it's not a fan favorite of Crows fans, but I do like the different designs and the unique bits of the jumpers.
Yeah, that's clearly 99 that we did talk about in a previous episode. But yeah, really awesome jumper there. Love the Ben Hart one. Yeah, what do you think of Damon?
Well, we talked about this one a little while ago, and my only issue with it was the red numbers. I'm a little bit different in that I don't really like the red ones, but that was we talked about this on air. That was the first jumper I ever got as a kid. Not that year with the numbers or anything, but that design with the red yoke and the crow. That was my very first Crows jumper. So that's always going to have a little spot in my heart. I think that design.
Yeah, very strong first
yeah,
away
I was
for
the
sure.
same. I had that in a long sleeve.
You had a long sleeve. Andy,
yeah,
please.
And I had a number 32 on the back.
Please tell me you're as into the long sleeves as Leighton and I. Please tell me you're a long sleeve fan.
I do like the long sleeves. I got one here just to show you now. It's a 1998. I got this from Leighton as well. Very lucky, and it's got the sports wool tag. If you can see there, if you see that tag, that's how you know it's a player issue. Kane Johnson long sleeve. So that's a really unique one. It's sort of like because it's sports wool, you can see all these. I don't know if you can see it, but I saw these lines on it, and yeah, it's really unique. I do love the long sleeves.
Yeah, I think if you don't like long sleeve jumpers, you need to get your head red. Honestly.
Yeah, very very classic design. Those from the Premiership '98 season. So yeah, very sought after jumper for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And going on to that away jumper, I just got this one recently. When they brought it in with the blue numbers this time with the blue. It's very wide for a modern jumper. It's really wide. This is when they still made the wider jumpers from Adidas. Yeah, so I got this one. It was James Moss, who actually played for the Adelaide Strikers. We didn't play, but he was on their list. So that's an interesting fact. Yeah, I love this one. This one I got I got it when it first came out. And I was in year 7. So yeah, that was a really big time for me as a Crows fan.
Unreal. I played for the cricket team. Played Big Bash cricket.
Yeah, so he was on like a community scholarship thing when he was about 24 or so. So yeah, after he played for the Crows.
Yeah, another awesome jumper. I remember I was a similar age. I remember in primary school loving that jumper and getting the version as a kid to wear around footy training or.
Yeah, me too. So this is a similar era, and I just got this one from the same guy. I was very lucky. The great red clash jumper with the wing design, number 22, Andy Otten. So when he was a young player, when he was young and promising before all those injuries, this is his.
Back in his what should have been his rising star year. I think he came second. Did he come second to Daniel Rich?
Yeah,
I feel, yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Phenomenal jumper. Leighton and I talked about this one a little while ago, and this is probably my favorite. Yeah, I'll throw it out. My favorite Crows jumper, I reckon. I love the red back. I mean, maybe that one competes with it just a little bit, but it's criminal that the Crows don't have any more all red base jumpers.
Yeah, good point. I was going to say, like, the red base ones we haven't seen for a while. Since then, that was the newest one, really. So it'd be great to see something like that similar brought back.
Yeah, I love to see it come back. I actually got another one up here. That's another player trio. That's John Hinge. So he's from Bordertown, which is part of my collection. I didn't mention, but a lot of my collection in my players rack and mostly are players from the southeast. So I'm from Narracourt. So there's players from Mount Gambier and Bordertown and just all the other small towns around the southeast. So that's why I like having that one, because he only played one game for the Crows, but he's from Bordertown, so he's from my area. So that's why I was interested in it.
Before we move on to the next Crows jumper, then,
another
mate,
one?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Andy. Do you have any jumpers from clubs around that area? Do you have a Narracourt? Is it the Tigers? Narracourt Tigers?
No, well, I play for Kaiby, so that's a team outside Narracourt, and we are the Tigers, yeah. So I got my jumper, but that's all. I don't really have too many local ones. I'm a soccer player now, so yeah, I've got out of footy, but I got mine from when I was a kid.
Fantastic. I won't hold you up then, man. What was the next Crows jumper you're going to show off?
This one isn't too special. It's just a Reebok home player shoe, and this was before they brought in the GPS, or maybe they did, but this one didn't have one. Anyway, I think it's Sam Martin, which was a player. He was a guy from New South Wales. So, unfortunate thing about this, it's signed by a former player who used to wear number 32. So I'm not a big fan of that one.
We won't mention his name. It's like a bit like Voldemort.
yeah, I maybe shouldn't have. Yeah, exactly. So that's an interesting one when Reebok. It's probably not the most iconic era of the Crows, but they're not too bad, those Reebok jumpers.
Yeah, those jumpers are nice. It was when we still had the GPS pockets, but those ones were the sort of their practice. I've got a couple myself, sort of like the practice training ones that they wore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is after the Reeboks. This is a Puma. So this one is a contentious one. I brought it up because it is a slime, but it's not really. Because Puma sold these in their store. I think they had a shop in Rundle Mall as well, and they had the GPS pockets and everything. But this is obviously way too big for Sloan. It's a really big jumper. They sold them in the shop as player shoes, but they weren't actually worn or anything. So that's a tip for collectors. Don't get sucked into these Puma jumpers because they most likely weren't actually worn by the players.
That's a fantastic bit of life advice there, Andy, because there's a lot of different pitfalls you can fall into if you're a hardcore collector, and if you're forking out your hard earned, you wanna know these little tricks to be able to spot a dud, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is another from BLK. So when the Crows reserves came in, I just want to show this one because it's my only number 75 in my collection.
Wow, big number.
Obviously the reserves have some big numbers because they have all sorts of guys filling in from all over the state. So they have some big numbers.
Who wore that? Do you know the name of the bloke that wore 75?
Yeah, so it was Michael Hobbs, and I think he's from the Yorks Peninsula or somewhere, and like they have all these guys filling in for the Crows reserves. I know there was a couple guys from my area that come and play for them, and obviously there was not obviously, it was pretty obscure, but there's Tom Hutchison. He was from Millicent. He was playing for the Crows reserves last year, and he got picked up by the Giants. So
right, yeah. I guess with the big list sizes, there would be like 1 to 42. The numbers would be pretty much taken up by the AFL listed Crows players, and then the rest of the numbers would be allocated to the rest of the reserves.
Yeah, for sure. So they could be all sorts of numbers. This is one. I'll come into the recent ones now. The ISC. I'm a big fan of ISC jumpers. I'm not sure about you guys. The fan stuff, I don't really get fan stuff. I only get the player shoot stuff. So I'm a big fan of the ISC. It's very shiny and sleek, and it's a great design. This is from last year. I got it in the auction, number 35. it's Will Hamill. Unfortunately, he changed numbers soon after I got this one, so wasn't wasn't great. But yeah, it's good to have one from his first year. I do like this one. I wish it wasn't white, but the ISC makes it a little bit better for me.
We just finished up talking about ISC in the last couple of episodes, man, and we just raved about them. They're quality manufacturing. They nail their templates, like almost without fail. And they get the colors right. Like we talked a little bit about how BLK tend to have a bit of a washed out sort of look in their colors, but ISC just smashed it. And on having Will Hamill's 35, that makes it even better in my opinion, because when he's a superstar playing in, I forget what number he's in now, but when he's a superstar playing in that number, you can say, yeah, but I've got his jumper from the early days.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a debut number. I guess it'll be even rarer for sure.
Mm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you compare these BLK and ISC ones, you can obviously see this is so much more shinier than this one. And it's, I definitely agree with the BLK. It's not great. And this isn't a jumper, but it is still Crows. This is a Lockie Murphy from the T20 showdown they played earlier this year.
No way!
I actually got two of them. So I thought this was too good. So I got a Matt Crouch as well. From the T20 showdown. They're both worn. Matt Crouch was the wicket keeper. Lockie Murphy, I think he bowled a bit and he wasn't too good, but Crows lost that game to Port, but yeah.
I didn't even realise. Did they go on sale, or did you manage to get those through the club? How did you get your hands on those?
No, they went on auction on AFL auctions or one of those pages, official memorabilia, one of them. But the interesting thing is that Matt Crouch is all printed, and Lockie Murphy, it was a fill-in. I think Fogg did his hammy or something. So Lockie Murphy's is actually ironed on.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's fine by him. So that's the difference, yeah. So I was going to get Fogg's, but he did his hammy, and that's unfortunate because Fogg is from Lucendale, which I used to play footy against him back in the day. So I would have loved to get his, but yeah, Lockie Murphy's all right.
Fogarty's by far and away my favourite player at the moment, and I'm kind of sick of defending him. I'm kind of sick of holding back the criticism on him at the moment and telling people to be patient because the kid's going to be a gun. I've got to say, though, the Big Bash 2020 game that we played, I love that you've got those. I wonder if you agree with me that I think we could have done a lot better in terms of both clubs, in terms of designing what they were wearing for the day, because it was a little bit unimaginative, wasn't it?
Yeah, I agree for sure. They're not great. I think the main thing is just the Kangaroo Island book them out. They put in there, that was the main emphasis, I suppose. But yeah, not very imaginative by, I don't know, they're not actually made by ISC. So they got ISC on them, but they're actually made by Sports Centre, if you see there.
Oh, right.
So
that's a local manufacturer.
Not that great because they're not actually ISC. Yeah, So made in Adelaide, I guess. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that is an interesting fact. I think it reminds me, the big sponsor on the front, it reminds me of like the Slowdown Guernseys where they have like massive logos on the front of the Guernseys. But yeah, sorry, Damien, you go.
I love to get on the Slowdown, yeah.
I was just going to say, that's amazing to me that ISC would even put their name to another manufacturer's gear. But I suppose they're as much on that as a sponsor. As much as anything else, aren't they?
Yeah.
Cool. All right,
yeah,
Andy.
There's been a bit of a history of that, yeah.
What's next, mate? What have you got to show us next?
Oh, that's all for me at the moment. I've got others, but I think that's main things I can show you.
Well, before we move on then, do you reckon you could just pan around your room a little bit? Can I just get a cheeky glance at what else you got hanging around the wall?
So I won't. So I got most of my 90s ones here. I've got all sorts, old clubs. I do collect old clubs, and I do have a few Port ones, but unfortunately, that's just part of my collection. I've got the barcode Collingwood there.
Wow.
So I do have an Instagram, Munro Jumpers.
Yeah, make sure to get your plug into that.
If you want to see all the photos, they're on there.
I can't believe you've got
Munro Jumpers on Instagram.
Sorry to cut off your plug there, man, but I can't believe you've got a barcode jumper. That's crazy.
Yeah, so this is just a retail, but the player issues would go for a fair bit. interesting fact, I did message the guy who worked with Puma at the time, and they went to Collingwood all these different designs for the pre-season, and this was the best one. Surprisingly, he said this was the best one. So I don't know what the other ones were, but the strange fact is that this magpie, weird muscly magpie with bloody glasses and everything, it was designed by the lady who worked in the front desk for Puma. She drew it up for him. So that's why it's so
that's
unique.
a fun fact. I didn't know that.
If there's anyone watching this now that
Yeah.
isn't a jumper aficionado or a big fan of jumpers like the three of us are, you need to understand that is one of the all-time great ugly-ass jumpers that's just become an absolute staple amongst great collectors. So it's a bit of a fan favorite for all the wrong reasons, I guess, because it's a hideous-looking kit, but it's one of those that's just gone down in history that everyone's got to get their hands on. So I'm very impressed that you got one of those, mate. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, they do go from up to 250 now. So I got that one for about 120. So I got a good deal there. So yeah, those ugly ones are usually more expensive ones, not the home ones, the ugly ones.
Absolutely fair enough too. Andy, mate, phenomenal having you on. I reckon we might have to have you on again just to talk about some of the other non-Crows related stuff in your back catalogue. But really appreciate you coming on, man. That was a fantastic chat, and hopefully we can see you again soon.
Yeah, that's so good. I'd love to come back on. That'd be fun. Yeah, for sure. Keep these up. I know you're almost done now, so I'll be looking forward to watching all the other ones.
Mate, we are not almost done. We've got content coming out the wire at the moment. We've got ideas for all sorts of different shows, so we'll see how we do. But thank you so much for that, mate. Look, we'll wrap it up there. I'll thank everyone who watched. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much to our sponsors in Pain Medicine and Trojan Aluminium. Thank you so much to my partner in crime in Leighton. Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Great episode again. Looking forward to the next one.
And we've got to thank our guest,
Yes.
Andy Munro. That was an absolute trip, man. I really enjoyed that like you wouldn't believe. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's been good.
Absolutely. All right. So until next time, guys. And if you like Andy, if you've got a big old collection or just some rare pieces that you want to come and show off, let us know through the chat. Let us know through Patreon, through Twitter, through Facebook, however you want to get in touch. Just put Get Your Crow on in the tagline so we know what you're on about, and we'll work hard to get you on to show off your collection. So until next time, guys, keep barracking for the Crows, keep collecting jumpers, and thank you so much. We'll see you next time.